Race 1 of the R&G British Talent Cup from Snetterton looked like business as usual, with Filip Sarawiak starting on pole position, leading the way before he went down at Wilson hairpin from the lead of the race, his second non-finish of the season. Ethan Sparks inherited the lead and he went down as well. That left Ryan Frost to try and come through and battle his way to a podium place. First of all, getting past Jack Dunnerby and then battling with him further around as well, battling for second place on the road, eventually finding his way through at the Brundle and Nelson complex, with Dunnerby fighting back through. It came right down to the final corner with Frost on the inside at Coram, and Dunnerby taking his wider line that on this occasion didn't work for him, with Frost sweeping through to the lead. It was a maiden victory that was taken away for Harrison McKay, though, after a post-race. So the big news out of race 1 in the R&G British Talent Cup was that race 1 winner Harrison McKay on the Cavara projects by RS Racing Machine was disqualified, along with his teammates Jack Dunnerby and Clayton Edmonds, for modifications to the lower steering yoke. The good news for RS Racing is their other two bikes, Filip Sarawiak and Ethan Sparks, still start at the front of the field for this one, but a revised podium now. Ryan Frost taking the victory after that post-race change, and now the championship lead as well. Mason Foster and Julian Correa were promoted to the podium, their first time on the rostrum in 2025. Danny Buchan alongside me. Big changes after that post-race technical check, but still the same two protagonists up at the front for this one.
Yeah, and the two protagonists were good. You know, the guys need to try and upset Filip Sarawiak's rhythm, because he has got great speed. Obviously, Ethan Sparks yesterday made that small mistake, but again, he's learning. So I'm really looking forward to this race. Obviously, watching the guys go from the back there, it's going to make for some interesting racing further back, and I think they're going to need to really make some moves early on in this race if they've got any chance of catching these two guys at the front.
It's another 12-lap race for these teenage racers on these 4-stroke 250cc Honda NSF 250R machines. They're on the warm-up lap now. Just a bit more on the championship standings then. Ryan Frost takes over the lead after that post-race technical failing for the three RS Run machines. There you can see it on the screen now, 13 ahead of Filip Sarawiak, who's been win or bust so far in 2025. Harrison McKay still there in third position after his first win in 5 years in this championship was taken away from him. Speaking to the team this morning, they said it was a minor change with no performance gained as a result of it, but if it's not compliant with the regulations, then unfortunately they have to be chucked out. So this is how things stand for race number 2 here in the R&G British Talent Cup. Filip Sarawiak, 3-time winner after his fall yesterday, starts on pole position. Ethan Sparks, who also went down yesterday, starts alongside him. And the new championship leader, Ryan Frost. Julian Correa and Mason Foster after their maiden podiums in 2025 on the second row of the grid, with Josh Raymond Jr., Charlie Huntingford, George Bowes, and Silverstone winner Peter Willis on the third row of the grid, Dan Goodman, Ben Joliffe and Alexander Rowan on the fourth row of the grid as well. 3-place penalty for the number 11 of Jensen Bishop. He starts down in 18th position, but the big news in this one, at the back of the field will be Harrison McKay, Jack Dunnerby and Clayton Edmonds after their disqualifications.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's unfortunate, obviously, what's happened, because the RS racing bikes, you know, Ryan's been in this championship a long time. You know, he's brought a lot of kids through, and he's, you know, he's not that type of person that will try and find that edge. You know, so I fully believe when we say that there was no performance gain from that, it was just strictly, you know, it was what it was type thing. I really believe in that, because yeah, he's been in this game a long time, and yeah, you're not cheating yourselves, you're cheating everyone. So it's yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in that in terms of what actually happened, but you know, rules are rules, so the championship's got to do that. But I'm looking forward to this race, and I'm looking forward. I mean, Filip Sarawiak's got a second bite at this, if you like, because he's starting from the front row. Obviously, Ethan Sparks got to learn from that little mistake he made yesterday. Not the end of the world. Take it on then now and try and get himself on that podium.
Filip Sorowiak on that red city lifting machine, run by the RS squad, coming out to the same stable as those 3 bikes that were disqualified, and the one that starts alongside him on the front row of the grid. Win or bust for him. It was 3 wins to start off the season. He hasn't scored points since the first race at Silverstone on the MotoGP support package. New championship leader Ryan Frost starting on the front row of the grid as well. Green flag waved at the back. We wait for the lights to go on. The engine notes rise. They're out, and we're racing for the second time, and another great start by Ethan Sparks, and he jumps straight into the lead of the race on the RS run. Number 62 machine, Frosty looks to have gotten away well as well, but it's Sorowiak still in second position. Julian Correa around the outside to take third position away from the championship leader, with Mason Foster nibbling at his heels as well as they come out of Ritchie's for the first time and into the Wilson hairpin. Mason Foster there on the inside, the lime and blue machine on the inside of Ryan Frost, who's gone backwards so far on this opening lap, but everyone keeping it neat and tidy. Ethan Sparks leads Filip Sorowiak.
Yeah, Correa got a good jump. Obviously, Ethan Sparks' jump there is amazing. Oh, as we see a crash in the background, I think that's. I think we'll see one of the RS racing bikes actually there.
It's the number 64 machine. Good call there. It is Clayton Edmonds on the. Sorry, not one of the RS1 machines, a similar livery on that one. It's a self-run bike. Oh, and going straight on at Agostini as well is Ben Hardwick on the Dan Cooper run machine. And seems to have given up the ghost on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely not gone to help him pick up the bike. I think he just got caught out on the inside into Palmer's there. And I think he sort of caught the wheel of somebody else, the rear wheel, and it just makes you sit up. You can't lean over. And you end up having to run on the grass, and he's probably grabbed a handful of brake because he's heading towards the tyre wall, so good heads-up riding. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Ethan Sparks. As you know, I've spoken really highly of him, and Filip Sorowiak have got right out to the front, and I really think that if Ethan can stay with Filip, he can be towed away, you know. But I don't want to take away from Ryan Frost. He's putting together a great race, obviously, yesterday, and he's there.
2 completely different points of their career. Filip Sorowiak in his 3rd season of British Talent Cup racing, the 16-year-old. Ethan Sparks, the 14-year-old rookie, out there coming out the same tent under different names. Team Cavara for the leading bike, City Lifting for the red machine in 2nd. Julian Correa going right with them as well, the Floridian who lives in Barcelona. Picked up his first podium yesterday, benefiting from the post-race disqualifications of those 3 RS machines. But he sits there in 4th position. Ryan Frost back up into 4th ahead of Mason Foster. He's reclaimed one of those positions he lost at the start of the race, but a good group of 5 bikes there, with Josh Raymond Jr. closing them down as well. Foster back on the inside of Ryan Frost, though, going into Wilson. Yeah,
update on Harrison McKay's up to 12th place.
Wow.
We've got, I know, in lap 1, Jack Dunnerby's up to 17th place. So them guys are really pushing on now, and they're doing a good job. I mean, if he can get pull up top 5, top 6 out of this, it's really good for his championship fight.
The problem for McKay, though, he's already 4 seconds away from the race leader, and that is just a result of the first lap bunching. Mason Foster now going for 3rd position at Agostini on Julian Correa. You see how much time they've lost to the top 2 already on this lap, while those positions have been changing. Let's see what happened at Palmer. Oh, it was contact actually for Clayton Edmonds. That's what's put him down.
Yeah, that was a bit of a funny one. He had the inside line, and the guy on the outside just closed the door. And sometimes when somebody's coming up the inside, you can't quite see them in your peripheral vision. So you just, turn into the turn and hope that no one's there. Really, you're just taking your own line, and that's what happened there. It looked like. So yeah, a bit of a shame for him there. And it looked like a bit of a whack actually.
Definitely one of the bikes on the inside, giving Clayton Edmonds a helping hand in that one. There is the 61 of Harrison McKay, moving past, who's that? That's Josh Bowes, isn't it? So he's already up into 7th position.
He's got a bit of, yeah. He's got, do you know what as well? I think the first win yesterday in 5 years, so much relief. Obviously, like big monkey off your back, so to speak, and then to have that taken away from you, it's got to anger you a little bit. So he's probably riding a little bit angry now. really wants to prove a point, really enjoyed that feeling, and he wants to get that back. And, you know, that's probably what we're seeing here, a bit of emotion coming out.
He was on fine form yesterday. Yes, there were 2 riders in front of him that went down the road, but a hugely emotional maiden victory after 5 years in the championship. Soroviak moves to the front, though, slipstreaming past Ethan Sparks and into Ritchie, so Sparky's coming back at him on the exit of the corner. He's got the inside line for Wilson as well, settles back in behind, but this is the corner where it all went wrong for Soroviak yesterday.
Yeah, and as I said yesterday, I think, you know, for Filip Soroviak, goes back, looks at the data, draws it out, right, broke a little bit too hard, a little bit more speed in there, right, I won't do that again, fine. You know, it goes back in your sort of brain box of memories of, you know, what not to do. And the same for Ethan Sparks, but they've got so much riding still. They're such young ages, but, you know, both of them are young guys, and they've got a lot of learning to do. And, you know, when you get up to Superbike, you have all those learnings in your brain box, and yeah, you know, you just don't make the same mistake again.
Well, Sparky thought about a move back on the inside at Agostini, still very much sticking with Soroviak, who we were saying about this in the sport bike, where Kaz Beekman's been dominating proceedings there in much the same way that Filip Soroviak has here in the British Talent Cup. He doesn't necessarily just clear off down the road. He has been attacked an awful lot. Here is the progress, though, for Harrison McKay now, up 17 places from his grid spot, and in 7th position, and made up 5 places on that previous lap. He's got 2 seconds to Josh Raymond Jr. in front of him, as Sparky had another look on the inside at Brundle.
Yeah, he might end up being able to squeeze you know, look, it's not
Podium?
a million miles. Yeah, it's not a million miles away. You know, 1.6 and to 4.9. It ain't a million miles away, and it depends on what pace he's got, and they can really use the benefit of the slipstream here. So, you know, if he's in a bit of a group and there's a slipstream in front of him, a big group giving him clean air, you know, there's no reason why he couldn't do that. So I'm interested to see that. It's really good, obviously, to see Dunnerby coming up. He's 15th, obviously a little bit less experience than McKay, but he's still doing a good job. And these races, you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about the way you can ride a bike.
Dunnerby, another of the rookie racers in the field, so yeah, no surprise it's taking him a little bit longer to come through. Coming through on the inside is Ethan Sparks, though, and so the lead changes hands once again into Ritchie's. The 14-year-old gets back up into the front of the field. I just have to keep reminding myself how young these guys are. 14 and 16 up at the front. Here comes Ryan Frost on the inside, the Fibertech rider going down the inside on Julian Correa into the Wilson hairpin, takes 4th position away from the Floridian.
Yeah, I like Ethan Sparks. You know, he goes out, he sends it on, he's not scared. You know, he's younger, he's smaller, but he rides with a lot of experience. And yeah, I like his style. I like the way he goes about himself. I like him. Yeah, big fan.
Already had a podium finish in the opening meeting of the season at Donington Park. Didn't quite manage the rostrum at Silverstone on the MotoGP support bill, but still a very exciting young rider who's been off racing across Europe, where there's slightly different age restrictions to the racing here in the UK. Soroviak now in his 3rd season of British Talent Cup racing, so knows the circuits a little bit better, whereas Ethan Sparks learning them as we go along.
Yeah, and let's face it, we want to get these guys to MotoGP, you know, it's the road to MotoGP. We want to get these guys there. We want to provide, you know, a good base level for these guys to go and do that GP and to go and succeed there, because there is a big gap at the minute, you know, getting British talent across to the Grand Prix paddock, and that's what this is, you know. So I really hope we can, you know, have some talent. We've got a massive field full of talent, but hopefully there is that way to get there into that GP paddock.
I'm sure there will be. Of course, a lot of these guys will move up to the Moto3 Junior World Championship or the Red Bull Rookies Cup as well as the next logical step on the road to MotoGP. Sparky leads Soroviak once again through Coram and then Murray's and back onto the start-finish straight. We've seen the lead change hands twice down here on the last 2 laps. Are we going to see it again with Soroviak tacked up as much as he possibly can be? You can see the size difference between the 2 of them. It's very clear to see, with Soroviak a little bit older, a little bit bigger, but he does go back through and cuts across back the front by the time they have to turn into Ritchie's.
Yeah, what's interesting is, you know, obviously there's a massive weight difference, and I'm pretty sure there's a minimum weight, I think, on the bikes here to make it a little bit more even, because otherwise, you know, Ethan Sparks here would have probably like a 10-15 kilo advantage over Soroviak. So it's, you know, the championship have done a great job in making things very even and a fair playing field for these guys to show their talent. And yeah, they're doing a great job, and Soroviak's doing good. You know, he's experienced, I know, but you know, Ethan Sparks as well. He's like a sponge. He's just sort of taking in all the learnings of being behind such an experienced guy, and yeah, he's creating some great racing.
It certainly is. It's been a pleasure to watch these two doing battle out there. Mason Foster, meanwhile, behind them, doing third position. Something of a home race for the man from Norfolk in his second season of British Talent Cup, where Soroviak leads Sparks once again out of Williams. And this will be a part of the circuit where Sparky can tuck in, and his smaller nature, he's a little bit more streamlined, so to speak. So we do see the younger guys generally a little bit quicker in a straight line. As you see, he closes up, closes, but doesn't manage to make a move into Brundle. Sparks, who's had his own share of disappointments, of course, falling off the road while leading yesterday, fell off the road at Silverstone as well, but a couple of highs in there as well. Some great performances from this youngster, and some great performances as well from Filip Soroviak, who, as we say, has been a bit win or bust so far this year. 3 wins to kick off the campaign, but a fall on the last lap at Silverstone while battling for second place, a fall while leading yesterday. He needs to get his championship back on track, as he lost the lead to Ryan Frost yesterday, who has been a myriad of consistency. Faller further down the road, and I believe that might be Jensen Bishop, the number 11 machine from Wilson Racing.
Yeah, and what's incredible, Chris, is, and what is something these need to focus on, is finishing these races, because yeah, it is a fairly long season, but it's so much harder to regain 20 points, 25 points over 10, 12 points. So it's yeah, they need to really focus on finishing these races, and if they're over their limit, they need to kind of set their limit and stay there and try and get those points, because the likes of Ryan Frost, look, if he finishes this race now, he's 4th again, he's consistent, he's consistently consistent, and that's that's what wins championships, and that's what people remember.
4 podium finishes in 5 races for our new championship leader. Oh, could be a 5th one here, because he's back up into 3rd position. Confirmation on the timing screen came through. It was Jensen Bishop who went down at Brundle, but seemingly okay. So Frost leads Correa, and Foster now down to 5th position. He's lost a couple of places on this lap. He was ahead at the timing line. Wasn't much separating them at all. Jack Dunaby has made forward progress. He's actually now just behind Harrison McKay, about 5 seconds behind, but he's up into 8th position. McKay has closed onto the back of Josh Raymond Jr. just behind this battle, with Correa now going for 3rd position on the blue number 40 machine from Mortimer Racing. He goes through into Brundle into 3rd position, ahead of Ryan Frost on the Fibertech machine, and then Mason Foster there in 88, also from Mortimer Racing. So we've got a bag going across the circuit. Luckily the riders miss it, and that is now McKay up to 6th position ahead of Josh Raymond Jr. So McKay continuing to make progress, and I think you're absolutely right, Danny. There is still every chance that Harrison can end up on the podium, which would just be a really sweet end to a weekend that has been a real roller coaster of emotions for him, with the win and then it being taken away from him.
Yeah, a podium from the back of the grid, that would be unbelievable. It happens, but it doesn't happen often, so that would be great. As we see this battle here, Ryan Frost losing out a little bit there, but that bag coming across the track, that is literally, that could be the worst excuse thought of, like, for crashing a motorcycle. What happened? Oh, there was a bag on the track. No way. No, but we saw it there, so
it does happen. It's a very windy day today, we must say. A very stiff breeze across the circuit, as we see Foster now back up into 3rd position ahead of Correa, so he's made that one stick at Ritchie's.
I actually used that excuse one time.
Did you really? What had you done? Really?
I tucked the front and I said, oh, there was a bag and it caught around my tyre. Yeah, so listen, I've got every excuse in the book. I've got my little book. I could probably sell the excuse book off, actually, make a load of money out of that. But
finally coming clean.
Yeah, all the excuses ever used. But no, these guys are having a great battle here. Ryan Frost just losing touch a little bit on that infield section. And if these guys mess each other up, McKay will be there. It won't take him long. He's got clear track. He's got a bit of a group in front of him. It's only going to take a little bit more, and he'll be on the back for that podium fight.
He's bringing Raymond Jr. with him as well. The gap currently 1.6 seconds between themselves and Ryan Frost. Well, it was at the start of the lap. I dare say it's a little bit less than that now, with Frost actually becoming a bit detached from the 2 Mortimer Racing machines in front of him. Correa back up into 3rd position now down the Bentley Straight.
Yeah, and as I keep saying as well, with the slipstream at this circuit, you know, with 3 bikes in front of you, Joshua Raymond Jr. is doing a fantastic job hanging on to the back of McKay. I bet he's thought, this is my ticket to get me to the front here. But he's doing a really good job. And but yeah, they're as I said, sorry, going back to the slipstream, you know, it only takes that group of just break that wind and to just give you that extra bit to pull you along the straights.
Mason Foster trying the Jack Dunnerby line around Coram, which was making Danny wince an awful lot in the commentary box yesterday. See a little shake of the head there.
I saw that. That's what I was pointing at, actually, Chris, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure what he's shaking his head at. Maybe he's got a small issue. I'm not quite sure.
Well, either way, it's Foster back through into third on the inside of Ritchie's. The 2 teammates swapping places once again. They are now 5 seconds behind the leading pair as Correa gets a little bit of a squirm under braking.
Yep. 8 temps now. He's pulled in 8 temps, 7 temps, 4 temps. He's yeah, working way back from lap 7 obviously to lap 3. You know, he's pulled a massive gap back, massive a lot of time back from these guys. So I think he's going to go through them quite quickly.
Yeah, so Harrison McKay now arriving on the scene. It's 5 bikes battling for the last spot on the podium. It's currently Mason Foster in third, then Julian Correa, Ryan Frost, the new championship leader. Oh, McKay running it very, very deep and losing a spot to Josh Raymond Jr., but crucially losing an awful lot of time in that as well.
Yeah, all that work he's put in and all that effort he's put in, he's just lost it out. I mean, I'm not quite sure what happened. It looks like he tucked the front and gave, like, as he recovered, he's gave himself a little bit of a bobble. But it's just giving these guys the breathing room. I wonder now if Joshua Raymond Jr. can pull onto the back of these and fight for this podium, because if he can, then he needs to be slipping Harrison McKay a fiver for that toe, because he's pulled him all the way back up to these to that group.
Oh, incredible recovery from Harrison McKay, surviving that little moment down to 7th position now. When he comes across the line, we'll get a clearer indication of just how much time he lost there. Leading pair continue to pull away. 5 seconds to the good on the chasing pack, but still Soroviak resisting the efforts of Ethan Sparks behind him. And is Sparky saving something for the final lap here?
I'm really impressed with Ethan Sparks. He's doing a great job. He's hanging in there. He's, you know, he's pushing Soroviak. He's making him do the work. Equally impressed with Soroviak. You know, Philip's doing a great job. He's handled the pressure really well. And just as I was saying about Joshua Raymond Jr. being towed up to the other 3, he seems to have lost quite a lot of time now. Harrison's dropped back. So
3 wide down the start and finish, straight in the battle for 3rd position. Frosty trying to make it 2 in 1, ends up making it none in none because Correa still holds the place across the timing line. Foster's got a great run out of Ritchie's, and on the inside at the Wilson hairpin, he's going to take that place, and Frosty just had to back out of a manoeuvre there as well, so as not to clip the rear wheel of the Floridian in front of him. He's still got those 2 Mortimer machines in front of him, but they are working very nicely at the moment as they head through Palmer. It's Mason Foster back up into 3rd position, but I mean, it's a lottery between these 3 who's going to be on the podium, and there's still yet more contenders, because we can see McKay is starting to close back in again. For reference, his last lap a 2:04 compared to a 2:03 to the guys he was trying to close down on, so he lost a full second with that moment. To be honest, I thought it'd be more.
Yeah, I actually was going to say, but look who's coming in the background.
But he's got to do this pass again.
I know. Oh, he's made it.
Oh, he's doing it now.
Wow.
Unbelievable stuff. Harrison McKay with a dive on the inside at Oggies for 6th position. That was beautiful.
We would call that a lunge. That was a lunge
with
and a half.
capital L.
Yeah, and a capital G in there as well. Look at that from way far back, full of confidence, braking hard into that tight right-hander, getting it out of there onto the back straight. And now he's got to calm himself down and think, right, 1 at a time, let's just pick through these, and let's see these guys. He might come through and these guys might rise to the occasion, just as Joshua Raymond Jr. has, and then get on the back of him and cause him a little bit of mischief.
Ryan the Rhino up into 4th position now. He's cleared one of the 2 Mortimer machines in front of him, Julian Correa. He's now trying to get through on Mason Foster as well. And there's McKay with the Dunnerby line, trying to line himself up very nicely. Is he going to go for the lunge at Murray's? No, not quite there, but he is fully in the ring now with these riders who are battling for the last spot on the podium with 3 laps to go here at Snetterton.
5-way fight for the podium is brilliant, but yeah, 3 laps to go. He's done the hard work. He's there now. He's just got to try and get himself back through. But look, see what I said about Joshua Raymond Jr. When Harrison McKay come past, he's just gone right. He's dug his claws in and he's like, right, you're going to take me with you. Look at him here. He's going to go for 2, 3 and 1, 2 for 1. 2 for 1. Lovely, lovely move. 2
places gained there from Harrison McKay, with Foster up into 3rd position as well. That is beautiful stuff from McKay, who is riding like a demon out there on the circuit at the moment. The bit between his teeth. Angry, I'm sure, about the disqualification yesterday. A hugely emotional first win after 5 years in the championship taken away from him. He's going for 3rd now on the inside at Agostini. He's run wide though. Foster will surely take it back on the exit of the corner. He does do so, but McKay from 24th on the grid is well in this fight now.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit of tailwind down into Agostini's because of obviously the wind direction. But look at him, he's good on the brakes into there. Oh, Foster's shutting the door on him and he's not going to give up. Look, he's looked over his left-hand shoulder. Right, he's let him have that. Good heads-up riding, guys.
Couldn't do it into Williams, and he's got to be careful. Oh, we've had contact at Agostini by the looks of it. 2 riders down. One of them up. We'll get confirmation of who that was shortly, but the battle for 3rd position heading down the Bentley straight is 3 wide with Foster in the middle and McKay round the outside of Brundle. Absolutely sensational stuff. Once again, he takes 3rd position away from Mason Foster. So it's Jack Burrows and George Bowes who went down at Agostini, I'm being told, but we keep our eyes on this battle for 3rd position, because any one of these 5 could be standing on the rostrum with Filip Sorowiak and Ethan Sparks in what will soon be 2 laps time. 21 places now gained for Harrison McKay. Can he hang on to it though? Because here comes Mason Foster again on the outside line. He's looked to be the most comfortable of this lot in that position, but he can't quite drag past the RS Racing bike. He can lunge him on the inside though, down into Ritchie's. Oh, that's the change for lead. Was that Sorowiak going wide? He's gone wide at Wilson, and that has allowed Ethan Sparks to go through with a lap and a half remaining in this race.
Yeah, and do you know what I said about McKay and Foster? Foster is just making his life hard work. I think we're going to see the mistake here by Filip Sorowiak. He's in, he's going to pick the rear up probably. Yeah, gets it out of shape, has to let the brake back off. Sparks says, mate, thank you, I will take that.
And that is where Philip went down yesterday. He will have had flashbacks there, I'm sure, to yesterday when he went down from the lead. So now it is the sensational rookie, Ethan Sparks, potentially on course here. Less than 2 laps to go for a maiden victory in the R&G British Talent Cup.
Pressure is going to be on now. This is going to be a bit of a test for Ethan Sparks. You know, he now is in position. He's got a lap and just under a lap really to go, just a lap and a bit to go. You know, can he hold his nerve? Can he? You know, this is going to be very difficult. He's got experience, Sorowiak behind. This is mega battle. This is brilliant. Mason Foster has really risen to the occasion. He's come past, Harrison McKay's come past, and he's like, you are not having this podium. And they are really pushing on and making real heavy moves on each other.
Mason Foster picked up his first podium of the season yesterday. He wants to make it a second one, and McKay was just a little bit wide around the Nelson complex. He had to just leave a space there for a machine on the inside, but he's still holding on to that 3rd place for now. We will soon be on the final lap of the race. And can you believe it? He's going around the outside at Coram. Frosty's in there as well, the 3rd machine in this train of bikes, the number 24, white and blue, and then the blue, the more cyan and white, number 40, Julian Correa, and then the 2nd of the Fibertech machines, the number 91, Josh Raymond Jr. at the back of that queue. Here comes Foster, and here comes Frosty as well. He's going to make it 3 wide down the start and finish straight to kick off the final lap of the race here. McKay in the middle, Frosty comes out on top, and Ryan the Rhino Frost moves through into 3rd position.
These guys are pushing so hard. I don't know where to look. We need 2 cameras. We need one on the lead pack and one on this group. Oh, he's up the inside. Is he going to make it? He made it stick. That is incredible heads-up riding. These guys are pushing so hard, and these want this podium bad.
You saw the concertina effect down at the Wilson hairpin there. Mason Foster fancied it on the inside of Palmer, had to back out of that one, but it is for now Ryan Frost, the new championship leader, hanging on to 3rd place for now. He's managed to gain a couple of bike lengths as a result of that, but McKay closes it right back up as well, and I'm told that there is lap traffic very shortly up the road for the leaders as well. It's still Ethan Sparks leading the way. Here he is. They've gone through the back marker, but that battle for third has still got to go through them. How is that going to affect things down the Bentley Straight for the final time of asking? Soroviak might have an opportunity to take the lead away from Ethan Sparks. Here we go into Brundle for the final time. Soroviak down the inside, going for his 4th win of the season. It's Filip Soroviak. He's taken the lead with only a couple of corners remaining, only a couple of opportunities left. He's got the bomb hole, and then Coram, and then Murray's battle for third. McKay's been shuffled to the back of that order as well. It's still Frosty at the head of that queue, and then Foster, and then Harrison McKay. He's just been able to recover one of those spots with Correa trying to make that maneuver. It should be Frosty in third. Here come the leaders though for the final time through. Murray's. If Soroviak gets out of here, well, he should be able to hang on to the lead. It could be a drag to the finish line. Look at him trying to break the toe down there. But the second race should go to Filip Soroviak. Oh, it's Sparky going to get him. It was side by side over the line. Soroviak takes it. His 4th of the season by 9 thousandths of a second. Sensational stuff. How close is the battle for third going to be? Not quite as close, but Ryan Frost gets it by 42 thousandths of a second. Unbelievable stuff.
That honestly was such a good race to watch. Jack Dunnerby there finishing up in 8th place, not able to quite get onto that next gap. What a race for those guys. I'm so gutted McKay didn't get that podium, but as I thought he was gonna, he got onto the back of that group. They went, oh, hang on a minute, we've got another one in the fight for this podium. But yeah, great riding by Soroviak there, and yeah, well done to Ethan Sparks. Really good try, but yeah, just got to keep learning.
The record continues for Filip Soroviak, win or bust, and a sensational last lap maneuver as well, just denied Ethan Sparks there, 9 thousandths of a second. And you've just rightly pointed out there, Danny, the fastest lap of the race on the final lap of the race.
Yeah, that's not easy to do, because when you have coaches and people who are up, they say, why don't you do that at the start of the race? But no, that was a great race. That honestly, I've enjoyed, and to know that this is the future of the British, motorcycle racing, the talent that's involved. It's definitely exciting. There's some talented guys here and girls, and yeah, it's fantastic to watch. What a race.
Absolutely. Even those who don't necessarily follow the path to MotoGP, of course, racing here in the British Superbike support bill. They might then go on to the world stage as well. The future of British motorcycle racing is in very, very good hands there. Shout out to Ryan Frost for that mega battle for third position. 11.5 seconds in the end behind the top 2.
But that is what wins championships, nothing fancy. He's third place, he's not won the race, but he's finished third again. Those podiums, and if Filip Soroviak wins or busts, eventually something's fell off a bike. They're not quite sure what that was. But, if Filip Soroviak continues to win or bust, he will get beaten. He will get beaten overall in the end if Frosty just stays consistent. So, yeah, great ride for Harrison McKay there. Massive shout out. 19 places is never an easy one. I'm gutted he never got that podium, because that would have been such a sweet way of finishing the weekend.
It would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? But from the penultimate row of the grid, after being disqualified yesterday, that lower steering yoke adjustment made by the RS camp that was deemed to be illegal, that threw out Clayton Edmonds and Jack Dunnerby. Jack Dunnerby 8th in the end. Let's take a look back at the race-winning move then. Soroviak on the inside of Ethan Sparks. You feel like he was just saving that one in the tank, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just hanging it out. And he must have been thinking going to the last turn, I've got to just try my best to do the slipstream and to try and use it. And he just needed another 10 metres of track, and he might have made it.
I hope there was a photographer down there to get that moment, because that was absolutely astonishing. It's just what we've come to expect in the British Talent Cup, especially this year. Races decided by thousands, not tenths, not seconds. Incredible.
Half a wheel.
Let's go through the full results then. From race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup at Snetterton, it's a 4th win of the season for Filip Soroviak. Ethan Sparks adds a 2nd podium finish, and Ryan Frost making it at 5 podiums in 6 races. Mason Foster just missing out by 42 thousandths of a second. Harrison McKay from 24th on the grid up to 5th, ahead of Julian Correa and Josh Raymond Jr. Jack Dunnerby from the back row of the grid, finishing in 8th ahead of Peter Willis. Charlie Huntingford completing the top 10. He was only 0.2 of a second ahead of Dan Goodman, Ben Joliffe, Scott McPhee, Sam Munson and Dan Stevenson completing the points-paying positions, with Kyle Payne, Blake Wilson, Isaiah Devine, Lewis Mullen and Alex Rowan just missing out. And the revised championship standings then, it is now 4 points the lead for Ryan Frost after Filip Sorowiak's victory by just 0.9 of a second. Harrison McKay now up to third ahead of Peter Willis and Ethan Sparks in 5th position. Stand by.
Filip Sorowiak, we got you so early, you've not even got your crash helmet off yet. Carry on, you can carry on. That looked like that was a tricky race. You and Ethan away at the front there, but the wind and the gusts and stuff must have been really difficult on these Little British Talent Cup bikes.
Yeah, definitely. You could feel the wind a lot, and obviously it affects these little bikes.
Let me do that for you.
Thank you. Look, 10 times more beautiful now. Yeah, the wind definitely affects the bikes a lot. So the lap time was probably down. I think we were doing like 2:03s, but just keeping it consistent. I knew that me and Ethan had a big gap and just wanted to score some good points. Knew my racecraft was there, and the whole weekend I've had the pace over everyone. So just, you know, getting some solid points, and I'm really happy. And I'd like to thank my team, my sponsors and everyone around me who's making this happen.
Filip, you've done a wonderful job. Well done.
Thank you.
Another sensational performance from Filip Sorowiak, his 4th victory of the season, already exceeding his win tally from all of last year and now very nearly matching Ryan Frost from last year as well, who was the most successful driver on the top step of the podium last year with 5 wins to his name. There is Ryan Frost there, the Fibertech rider, and Ethan Sparks. I mean, just look how young he is. Look how young he is compared to the two who are either side of him on the podium. Sensational.
Yeah, and his size difference as well, you know. The funny thing is as well with the size is like he might have a growth spurt and end up being a superbike rider. You know, you literally never know. But yeah, there's sensational rides by all 3 of them, and they should all be proud of themselves. And especially Sorowiak, you know, he's rose to the occasion. He's done what he needed to do, and as he said, he's had good racecraft and he's had good pace all weekend, and he's managed to execute that. So well done, guys.
Ethan Sparks matches his best finish in the RNG British Talent Cup, the 2nd place he scored at Donington Park. That was an absolutely nose-to-tail finish with Filip Sorowiak there as well at the opening meeting of the season. Ryan Frost, though, hangs on to the championship lead. Only 1 race this season where he hasn't finished on the podium. He's been the mark of consistency aboard that Fibertech machine as the trophies are handed out. But Filip Sorowiak, the 16-year-old from Morden, will claim his 4th trophy of the season. And closing in on Ryan Frost in the lead of the championship. Brilliant action in the RNG British Talent Cup. Race 2 of the RNG British Talent Cup from Snetterton saw Ethan Sparks launching off the line from the front row of the grid, passing pole sitter Filip Sorowiak and going into Ritchie's for the first time of asking. It was Julian Correa, the aggressor, going up to 3rd position. We saw swaps between Sorowiak and Sparks throughout the race, him going through into Ritchie's, but then this big scary moment going into the Wilton hairpin that will have reminded Sorowiak so much of his fall yesterday that cost him the win there as well. He just about managed to gather up the city lifting team, but he lost the lead to Ethan Sparks. That was until the final lap of the race, launching on the inside at Brundle. That was the race-winning move for Sorowiak. Sparks tried to get the slipstream out of Murray's. Sorowiak tried to break the toe. It would be a photo finish though, but just by 0.9 of a second in Sorowiak's favour for his 4th victory of the season, and Ryan Frost won a monumental scrap to get the 3rd spot on the podium.